The year is 2003, and the place is Iraq. American Army soldiers are entering one of Saddam Hussein's luxurious palaces where they find many rare things. But then what happens? Today's story is about a lie that the entire world was deceived by. But this lie greatly benefited a superpower, and that was the United States of America. America's wrath is raining down on Baghdad. Everywhere there is nothing but screams and cries. Amidst this, we see Iraq Army General al-Rawi, who was fleeing with his family because he fears for his life. With him is his secretary, Syed, who drops him off at a car and tells him where they have to go from here. In the meantime, al-Rawi writes some things in his diary and hands it over to Syed, saying that it contains everything that is very important for the people here. So, you hand this over to someone as soon as possible who can tell everyone what is written in this so that people can protect themselves. Saying this, he left, but the bombs continued to fall just like that. How the echoes of the night turned into the silence of the morning, no one knew. The city that used to be populated with its luxurious buildings has been completely destroyed today, but now panic has spread among the residents there. Everyone wants to leave this country because they love their lives. Amidst this, we see Captain Miller, who is a captain in the American Army. He has come to a small town with his troop because the Army has found out that this is where Iraq has hidden its WMD, that is, weapon of mass destruction. This is the very thing because of which America destroyed all of Iraq. Actually, the president was feeling like Iraq was building nuclear weapons, and if it did that, then it would come in the way of his destruction, which America never wanted. That is why he finished that country and its leader. But did they find what they came looking for? This will only be known at the end of the story. For now, Miller tells some of his people here, "You go inside and check, I will handle this side." Just then, another team reaches there, with whom Miller talks and explains everything, what they have to do next and how to do it. For the people who went inside, Miller asked for cover from the other team, but they refused to give it, because if they do that, the sniper standing above will finish them off. That is why they must finish him first. Miller understood what had to be done, so he moved forward slowly and then went and stood in a place from where he could take a direct shot at that sniper. In the blink of an eye, these people shot him down. Then they wore radiation suits and went inside that destroyed factory because they received news that there were bioweapons inside, which Saddam Hussein was building for his enemies. This news is spreading all over the world, and America is completely believing that Iraq has nothing like that. But today is their third investigation, and even today, like the previous two times, nothing came into their hands except dust and some broken debris. Seeing this, Captain Miller has become worried. He has started doubting his own system, that perhaps someone from among them is giving them false information, or perhaps there is nothing here in Iraq that they are looking for. It could be either of the two, or it could be what the Army thinks. Frustrated, Miller went directly to his officials and angrily told them, "We have to meet the informer who is giving all this information, because for the last 3 times, nothing has come into our hands, only our time is being wasted. As far as I think, there is no WMD here." Hearing this, his head flared up and started saying, "Your job is not to ask questions. You just have to follow our orders and listen to what is said, even if it is wrong." His words felt very bad to Miller, which is why he came out in anger. In the second scene, we see that an ancestral king named al-Zubaydi has reached Iraq. He is the person whom America wants to rule Iraq in the coming time and work like a puppet for them. Amidst this, we see a BBC reporter named Lauren who reaches the Ministry of Defense Chief Wogeman and asks him some sharp questions. But every time he refuses, saying this information is very sensitive. At this time, because the whole world is watching us and we do not want any haste on our part. Then Lauren asked that question, on which the chief leaves without even listening. The question was, "Where is Saddam? Have you killed him, or is he in your custody?" She asked the question, but the answer is not known to her yet, nor to the world. Only America knows where he is at this time. On the other hand, Miller was standing outside with an angry face when a person named Martin came to him, who calls himself an admiral. He said to him, "I heard what you were saying inside. You were right. Whoever is giving this information to your department is wrong, because 2 months ago, the UN department had already gone where you are going, and they found nothing. And no one will ever find anything, because the truth is that Iraqis never built anything that the American Army is looking for. The purpose is something else entirely, and we have to find that thing." Hearing this, Miller's senses were blown away. Anyway, after this, he gets orders to go to his next site, so he reaches there with his team. But on the way, a tense crowd stops his path and keeps saying that they do not have orders to go beyond this. Actually, not a single Iraqi wants the Americans to stay in their country for even more days, but they are forcibly taking advantage of a weak country on the strength of their own power just because they will get oil. Scene cuts to Al-Rawi, who quickly reached a safe house where the rest of the interim ministers were sitting, who were talking among themselves about what they should do now because the Americans have entered. Then Al-Rawi says, "We have to wait a little, then they will talk to us, and then we will present our conditions before them. If they agree, then it's fine. But if they don't, then we have the second option anyway. We just have to be prepared." Amidst this, we see the meeting happening between Zubaydi and the rest of the American chiefs. Wogeman's statement was that our grip on Iraq is weakening because ever since the leader has not been seen by anyone, everyone has become aggressive. Then Martin says that to make our grip stronger, two things are necessary to do. First, we have to make the Iraqis understand that we have not come here to hurt anyone, but to develop their country and give them a good government. And the second thing, which is the most important, we have to join hands with the Iraqi military because they know every corner well here. But this matter gets heated and the debate becomes sharp. Miller, with his people, was also involved in the same struggle. He even started digging there, but nothing came into his hands yet. But yes, there was one person who was in their hands. He also knew English, which is why Miller talks to him. So he told him that he could tell him about Al-Rawi, but they would have to give him his car keys. Miller agreed and immediately asked him where he was. Hussain immediately pointed his finger to the other side where that safe house was. The Americans immediately run towards it. Actually, Al-Rawi was Saddam Hussein's top general, and if he fell into their hands, then the difficulties for these people would be lessened. And it is possible that he might know about the WMD. That is why these people strike at that safe house, but he had already fled with his people before that. Only one person remained there, and that was Syed. Yes, Al-Rawi's secretary, who had that diary which fell into Miller's hands, but the one they were looking for had fled. However, they can find out a lot from this diary. That is why they took him out and asked what was written in it. So Syed said that he was ready to tell, but in return he wanted protection for his family. Miller agreed to this deal, but just then, Secret Service commandos arrive by helicopter and forcibly snatch Syed from Miller. Miller even fights with them for this because he is his prisoner and it is his case. But the commando kicked him and forcibly took Syed away. Miller could not understand how they knew that we had caught Syed. He was just thinking about all this when he saw that Hussain was running away. So these people immediately ran after him and finally caught him. Miller asked, "Why were you running?" Hussein's answer was, "Then I would have waited for my death." Just then, Miller's eyes fell on one of his legs. On asking the reason, he said that he had dedicated his leg to his country, but he knows that they also love and affection for their country very much. But they are forgetting that the place where they are standing is our country, and they are outsiders. We are not small children who cannot solve the issues of our country. That is why you should leave. We have nothing except our family and our home. Miller feels bad for him, so he asks him for his address so that he could get him rewarded for the help he gave them today. Hussain, "Reward? I lost my son to your airstrike. Can you give him back to me?" Saying this, he left. Miller stood there for some time thinking. For once, he even doubted his own army, whether they were doing the right thing or not. Syed had gone, but he had that diary with him in which there might be something of their interest. That is why now Miller immediately calls Martin and asks him to meet. He asked him to come to Saddam Hussein's palace. When he was on that path, seeing the destruction there, only one question comes to his mind. Is all this for the right path or not? Anyway, when they went inside, they saw that place had now become a den of debauchery for the Americans. There he meets Martin. He told that his meeting with Al-Rawi almost happened this morning. We found a person named Hussain who told us about him, but when we struck, the Secret Service people came and took Syed, but this diary came into my hands. But what is written in it is beyond my understanding. So can you tell me? Martin asks him to meet in the empty building behind in civil clothes, that he will tell him the rest of the matter there, because he is being watched here. He was right. As soon as Miller got up to leave, journalist Clara stopped him. She already knew a lot about the captain, such as that he is part of the WMD unit, and he is also one of the first soldiers who came here to Iraq first. After this, she also asked what the conversation was between him and Martin, which Miller laughs off. But while leaving, Clara says something to him that puts him back into the same thinking. Is the thing they are looking for really there, or is it just being done to shift power? Miller left without saying anything, but he goes back and collects a lot of information about Lauren, during which he finds out that she is not an ordinary reporter, but she knows something about the WMD, and also why all this is happening. Maybe she has the answers to those questions that Miller wants to hear. On one side, Secret Service people are torturing Syed very badly because they think that he knows everything about the WMD and he is also a general. When Syed could not bear the pain He gave up and said that he was ready to answer all their questions, but before that, let them know that he does not know that he is a general. He just had a diary of his. Hearing the name of the diary, no one there understood anything, but the chief knew from the commandos themselves that Syed had a diary. But when they went to catch him, it was not with him. The chief understood that it must be with Miller. That is why he goes back to the palace where the American army was staying. There he meets Miller. So first of all, he praises him a lot that the strike he did to catch Syed was commendable. The whole system is praising him. And then in the end, he asked him about the diary. So Miller answered, "Whatever I found, I gave everything to the department that very day. Apart from that, I have nothing." The chief agreed, but while leaving, he said again, "If you find out about that diary, definitely tell me." Now here Miller was convinced that there must be something in that diary that he has not found out yet. That is why he went straight to Martin and tells him everything. He told him that Syed is more important for us now. Martin gave him 1 million cash and some fake documents and said to go and meet him so that he can extract some more information in his own way before he falls into the hands of the chief. At first, Miller feels like he is betraying his own country, but later Martin told him that we are going to find out something that will shock the whole world. Miller immediately went to the prisoner camp, taking Hussain with him because he could do the work of a translator for him. With the help of those papers, he reached Syed very easily, but he was in a lot of pain. He was counting his last breaths, but he told this much, that a meeting had taken place in Jordan, and that too with the Americans. Knowing this, he was stunned that why would Americans meet with Saddam's top leader? Here, somewhere, Lauren's point started seeming correct, which is why now Miller also left immediately to go to her address. Here, Wogeman had demanded a letter from the White House on the strength of his power and went and put it in Martin's hand, in which it was written that they wanted that diary. Martin had to follow orders and he had to hand it over to the chief. The chief was fully convinced that there was something in it. After solving the first page, they find out about Al-Rawi's safe houses, on which they raid and kill everyone. But still, there were some more pages left in it. Amidst this, we see Lauren, whom Miller has come to meet, who directly asks her what other information she has. Lauren said that she only knew that a meeting had happened in Jordan, in which the chief was involved with a man whose name is Megalon. But who he is and what he does, no one knew. Now Miller understood. Actually, that man is not Megalon, but Al-Rawi. He had gone to meet him in Jordan for the sole purpose of reconciliation, so that whatever destruction is happening could be stopped. But the chief does not want this. There is some other game going on in his mind, which is why he gave wrong information to Lauren so that she would print it, and then the world would know that America talked from within an Iraqi department, and from that, they have found out that they are building nuclear weapons, so that the army gets a reason to attack them. Miller immediately ran to Martin and told him the whole story. Then Martin asked his men to confirm if both of them were really in Jordan in 2003. So they say that yes, they were seen there. Just then, an attack happens on one of Al-Rawi's farmhouses. Miller ran immediately because stopping Al-Rawi is his purpose now. But Hussain cannot understand why he wants to stop the general, so he said that he is the only one who can stop this war, and thousands of lives can be saved. Reaching the safe house, Miller saved the general's commander and told him, "Go and tell the general I want to meet him at the bus stand in an hour." Amidst this, the chief gets the news that Miller attacked their men and saved Al-Rawi's people. This thing increases his heartbeat because he is afraid that what if they meet him before them? Otherwise, his whole game will be spoiled. Slowly, you must have started understanding the whole game, that how America deceives the whole world and everyone just thinks that it is saying the right thing and the opposite country is lying. After an hour, Miller reached the bus stand where a man asked him to go to a dark place. But before the general could meet him, the chief plays his ugly trick there. He calls all the media people and announces that his army is ready for war because those people want war, and we will not stop until we defeat them. Hearing this, Al-Rawi flares up. Just then, Miller arrived there, so they took him hostage too. But Miller keeps telling him, "We have some people in the White House who want reconciliation." But Al-Rawi, showing him the chief's statement, says, "Look, your man has said that now there will be war, so no, now there will be war only." Friends, just then, American Army people arrive there, so Al-Rawi and his men start running from there, but there is a terrible fight between them in the middle, in which people on both sides were being killed. But Miller wanted the general not to be killed, otherwise everything will never end. But Brick, the Secret Service commander, is the chief's man and works for him. He has ordered that he should be killed. That is why he was bent on killing him. But before he could kill him, the general's men give him death. When everything stopped in the end, only these two were left face to face. Then Al-Rawi agrees to surrender, but just then, Hussain comes from behind and shoots him. He said that one person cannot decide the future of crores of Iraqis. This country is ours and we are its creators. Now what we want will happen. Miller immediately tells him to go home because now nothing can be done except one thing. When it became morning, we saw that Zubaydi comes to the chief, the same king who wants to rule Iraq and is also very close to America and most special to the chief. That is why he talks a lot about things. That just then, Miller arrived in that meeting, who grabbing the chief by his collar said, "You lied to the world that there is nuclear here, whereas there is nothing like that here. A happy playing country, you destroyed it just for your power. Tell me why you did this." The chief was shocked that how did he find out all this? But he doesn't say anything because the soldiers came and pulled him away. But Miller will not let this story end here. He has to tell this story to the whole world. That is why, going to the palace, all the things that were written in that diary, which Martin had told him about. Actually, Martin had already extracted a lot of information from that diary, some of which were points that America actually wants to have control over Iraq's oil reserve itself, but Saddam Hussein did not let that happen, due to which they made false allegations inside the UN that he was preparing a weapon for mass destruction, and due to that, they then attacked him. Miller sends all these things to Lauren via email and says that he has a chance to tell the world that whatever they are seeing is not the truth. There is another story behind the curtain. Lauren also supported him and forwarded this information to all the news channels of the world. But what happened after this was not told to us. But as far as information is written on Google, it is clear that America never found anything there for which they went looking. Just found a lot of gold, a lot of oil, which they stole. The rest, what is your opinion about this? Definitely tell in the comments.